few months I was here, I was in that club. Loretta's was open every night of the week, and we were right there. My little crew. We were all about the same age, and we were right there every night. We'd leave Loretta's, and on the weekends when Loretta's were closed, we'd leave Loretta's and go to Marquette. Go to the Marquette, the sun be coming up, I'd leave the Marquette and go to work. When did I sleep? I have no clue. And my mother was in complete panic because she didn't know. She was just like, "Where are you all night long? What are you doing? Why are you ripping around these streets?" I was a kid. I was 18 years of age. I was a kid. And she didn't know I had got dropped into the candy store with some fine brothers. And they were pursuing me, and I was just right there. I like the fact that back then, brothers would approach you. They'd say something. Oh, they were aggressive. And I like turning them away because I wasn't ready. And I didn't know what to expect. And I was working these jobs, and I was just wanting to hang with my friends at that time. And I was young. I was very, 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 very young, naive, and I didn't know a lot about a lot of things. I thought I knew it all, though, back at 18 years of age, but I really didn't know much at all. And it was in that period of time I got caught up, and things started to change drastically. I got involved in criminal activities. Well, if I could go back, if I could create a time machine and go back to that 18-year-old Walter and say, if you don't sit there, I would put my hands around that 18-year-old Walter and choke the shit out of his ass and say, now get your fucking ass home. Now, if I kill your ass. If I could turn back the hands of time, but I was gay. I didn't want to be at home. I didn't want to be around my family. Because I didn't want them to, I was coming out. And some of my family members didn't understand me. Some of my sisters didn't understand me. I had 5 sisters and they were confused. They didn't understand what was going on. So I would distance myself, although I was staying with my mother for a minute. I heard her quickly get my own apartment because I wanted my privacy and I didn't want to hear the questions they had. Where are you at? What are you doing? Who are these people you running with? Because one day these guys came to the house looking for me because I had worked for a couple of days around. I was tired and got some sleep. And they came out there to get me. And my mother said, who are these niggas? I had never heard my mother do that, but my mother came down there, and I was talking to them. I never forget. They had knocked on the door. I don't even know how they knew where I was at. I think I gave them an address or something. I don't remember how they got that address. But anyway, they came and knocked on the door, and I came downstairs to talk to them. My mother came down there right behind my ass. Who are these niggas? How do y'all know my son? But my mother was very aggressive. And, y'all, I'm glad I had an aggressive mother like that. Because she knew they were up to no good. She knew it. And she was determined to fight for her son. And, I wasn't the smartest kid. My mother was she knew. In her heart or soul, she knew these guys were not good for me. She knew, but these were my friends. But she knew. And she aggressively tried to pull me away from them in so many ways. I have to tell you, I've did videos about this before. But my mother, she knew something wasn't right. And she was trying really hard to pull me away from them. She sensed danger. And she was correct. She was right. I was wrong. When I was a kid, I wanted to hang. I wanted to have fun. Thank God I didn't get involved with a lot of stuff that I saw. I saw drugs. I saw cocaine. I saw marijuana. I was around all kinds of stuff, and I just wouldn't participate. Thank the Lord. I didn't participate in those drugs. I didn't participate. I didn't even drink back then. I didn't. I just wanted to hang out and have fun. Everybody be drinking, and I might have to take a sip or two, and I'd be like, this ain't for me. I was young, but I wasn't dumb. I knew, because I was always the driver, because I had a car, and I'd go run around and pick up my friends and stuff, so I didn't have to drink and drive. There were some issues. I was a kid in a major city. I made a lot of mistakes. I miss that Atlanta then versus Atlanta now, because right now, an 18-year-old kid, he ain't gonna make it. Just simply because the good guys that stepped in when they saw things were going awry with me, there were a lot of people who stepped forward and said, okay, wait a minute. A lot of the good guys no longer exist here in Atlanta, or they just don't come out into the community. So you got a lot of the bad guys kind of roaming the streets of Atlanta who manipulate these young kids and take advantage of them. If there was anything I could ever do, I would open up an organization. I call it Foundation, to help young gays get the correct foundation as they ease into the world. Because you have to have the proper foundation to survive. And that's the right friends, the right people pushing you in the right direction. I was supposed to have been here and off going to college, but I made the decision to stay here and work for Taco Bell and the Ramada Renaissance. Someone should have turned me around and said, this gay shit ain't going no place. You can always come back to this. Go to school and get you an education. But instead, I hung around Atlanta and I hung around them thieves and crooks, and I ended up in the world of trouble. It was Atlanta 1989, 27 years ago. I was a kid. I didn't know any better. I didn't listen to my mother. Lord, if I only could go back in time, I would at least sit down and listen to what she had to say, but I didn't want to hear what she had to say. Well, I thought I knew it all. My mother started seeing me show up with them expensive clothes and expensive shoes. She knew. She knew. There was just going to be a matter of time. I was going to be in a world of trouble. It did happen. But 27 years ago, Atlanta was this beautiful place that an innocent little kid came to who didn't know, was very green and naive. And I came here with an open mind and an open heart. And I came here not knowing what to expect. And I fell in love with Atlanta. I loved Atlanta back then, not so much now. But back then, I loved the city. You couldn't have drugged me away from Atlanta because it was such a beautiful place. You could be free. I remember going to the Piedmont Park on Sundays when you could drive through the park. In the parking lot, and people would pull in there and play loud music out the back of the trucks, these Jeeps and stuff, and we'd all just stand and dance and have so much fun. And then the hanky-panky would get going. When the dark sun went down, I'd always leave. One thing about me, I can honestly say that I thank God that my mother did instill in me certain moral values. And I avoided a lot of stuff that I saw my friends doing. I knew what they were doing. I just kind of steered clear of it. And I'm grateful because I think in those early years, although I was meeting guys, I was trying to find myself and understand who I was and what I wanted. So I would meet guys, I was very cautious. Certain things would turn me off very quickly about certain guys. And so I was very leery about meeting people. I was just very picky back then. I thank God I was very picky back then because I could see through certain characters and I could see what they were about. And it's hard to explain. My intuition just told me, don't fuck with that nigga. The vast majority of my friends from that era are no longer here. They're deceased. I'm talking about hundreds of guys. They're not here. Some of my friends are, though. Very few. Very sprinkling. Atlanta was a different world. I'm going to talk more about it. But that was 27 years ago. And in January, it'll be my 27th anniversary in Atlanta. And I'm trying to decide how I'm going to celebrate that anniversary coming up. But anyway, this video is a little bit longer than I wanted. I just wanted to talk. So I'm going to talk more about that in another video. So this is like part one, the introduction to me to Atlanta. If you like my videos, please share them with my family. Share them with your family members and friends. I do these videos. I say this over and over, and I hope they're educational and they help. This is like my diary. It's like a video diary of my life. And I made some mistakes. I'm not perfect. And I say that because so many people have criticized me because they think that I know everything and I'm trying to, no. I'm just explaining what happened in my life. The things I did wrong, the things that took place that I wish I could change, but I can't. And I'm hoping people watch these videos and learn from my mistakes and things that took place. But anyway, I'm going to do part 2 to this. Maybe now. All right. I'm out.